This is the 2026 totally partial solar eclipse aboard the motor vessel Oosterdam in the Mediterranean Sea. For 2026, we chose the Mediterranean cruise as our platform for trying to view the total solar eclipse that passed over Iceland and the Atlantic and northern Spain and into the Mediterranean Sea. Leading up to the eclipse, the plan, according to the ship crew, was to have the sun positioned somewhere aft of the vessel and toward the starboard. However, the captain on the morning of Eclipse Day announced that they changed their plan and they would have the sun to the aft and facing more toward the port side of the vessel. And we can see as the time approached, aside from a sunbather or two, everyone tended to gather toward the aft and the port side of the vessel. And we were fortunate to have a port side veranda stateroom, so I was able to set up the equipment right on the veranda. And we parked right about here. Here are the intrepid viewers waiting for the time to come. Before totality, of course, there's always the partial sequence. This video is sped up 5 times speed, but you can see the ship actually did a pretty good job of maintaining a fairly stable platform. It was certainly good enough for taking photographs. And after that progression finishes up, we can see that the lead-in partial phases actually presented a fairly good series of images here. However, as you get further and further along, it's clear that it's not so clear anymore, and there are some clouds in front of that sun. And unfortunately, as the progression continued, it became more and more so, and you'll see the cloud bank more clearly in some of the upcoming videos. But here the sun is getting pretty dim and pretty covered with the clouds, so we were concerned about the situation, rightfully so. Now let's watch in real time the totality sequence, which totality itself at this position lasted about 1 minute and 37 seconds. Then there's a few seconds on either end that I would have gotten diamond ring Bailey's beads images, but we'll see how that turned out. So here the solar covers are coming off the cameras. On the bottom left you see the video image, and then the still image. You can see that little sliver of the sun right near the text, and it's fading away. This should be Bailey's beads, diamond ring or Bailey's beads territory, but there's just not enough light coming through to really get that effect. And now you can tell the difference in the darkness of the surroundings here. On the bottom right is a video another passenger shared. That's real time with the umbral shadow coming across, and boy, the crowd got a little bit more excited than I did when that happened, but at any rate, it was something. Now at the bottom left, that's the same video continuing, and you can see it's complete blackness. We're looking up at the sky, but we're seeing essentially a light cloud bank. It wasn't incredibly cloudy, but there was just that band of clouds right there where the sun was sitting during totality, and nothing was coming through. At mid-eclipse here, I'm showing real quickly one image at a quick shutter speed, another one at a long shutter speed, and it's nothing but gray, and I've messed around with this in Photoshop, and nothing really comes through at all. I'm clicking the camera away here over and over again just to see if it might have peeked through, but no such luck. Still got the video rolling at the bottom left, and it's total darkness. In the meantime, we're just looking up with the solar glasses lifted and looking with their bare eyes and seeing clouds and nothing else. And as we come toward the end of totality, you'll see another sequence of pictures where I did get another sun sliver. Again, it would have been kind of Bailey's beads, diamond ring territory, but you just see that little sun sliver, and it's it'll show up here right near that text near the bottom right as we move forward. And you can hear the clicks of the camera, and you can see that sliver growing as now the moon moves past the sun. And we failed. So the filters go back on the camera. And here's a time lapse of the event. And you can see that umbral shadow coming across, covering the sun, and then revealing. Again, that totality was 1 minute and 37 seconds that you saw compressed. Now, a consolation prize was, and you can now see that the sun reappeared below the clouds just in time for it to set, which was interesting to see. So the sun set before the eclipse completed, and here's a quick sequence showing the sun drifting down and a little shark fin there as it sets on the Mediterranean. And here is overall sequence. You have the 10 partial phase pictures along the top, all looking fairly intact aside from the clouds as you move toward the right, and then the sun sliver as we get ready to enter totality. A nice completely gray picture of clouds representing totality, unfortunately, and the sun sliver reappearing as the sun emerges and the moon moves past it. A couple of partial phase pictures after the solar filter was reapplied to the camera, and then the filter was able to come off for those last sunset pictures because the sun wasn't very bright when it was down at the bottom of the sky, right at the horizon there, and so we were able to witness the sunset with the eclipsed sun. A cool ending. Unfortunately, not really what we came to see, but them's the breaks.